Ladies and gentlemen, we now direct your attention to Commissioner Kuhn's box, situated at the home plate side of the Red Sox dugout, where the ceremonial first pitch will be thrown out on behalf of the President of the United States by the Secretary of the Treasury, William E. Simon.
Yeah. Mr. Simon being greeted by a few boos. They have the highest oil prices in America here in New England. But no matter what public office you're, where you go, they cheer you or they boo you. Bowie Kuhn, the commissioner of baseball, is in charge. It's a light rain falling down. However, as we told you, the wind is coming from first base toward third or out of the right field corner. And we see light skies over there. So I think this shower is going to pass by. That's the direction of the wind. That's up and back of third base. Balls hit in the air toward the Cincinnati bullpen or toward the right field grandstand are going to be held up. Here are the Red Sox. They'll get a mighty roll. Yastrzemski to left field. Lynn is in center. Evans in right. Very well might be the best defensive outfield in baseball. Get some argument from the Red fans, the other clubs, but they can all throw and cover ground, and they're very accurate throwers. Even the Cincinnati Scout reports rate them the best that they played against, potentially. In the infield, Petrocelli's at third. At short is Burleson. At second is Doyle. At first is Cooper. And there he is. He says he's 35. People say going on 45. His father's here, 70 years old. His father was one of the greatest pitchers in the history of Cuba. He pitched also in the Negro American League. Did not want his son to pitch in baseball. We'll tell you that story later. Tony?
All right, Kurt and Dick, let's go to the man who's going to catch him in today's ball game, and that, of course, is Carlton Fisk. He'll be calling the pitches. Let's hear what Carlton had to say about Luis Tiant.
Baseball game against the Cincinnati Reds. What might he throw them, and what will be the big thing for him?
Well, Tony, I think he'll go with his basic game, which is basically an aggressive game. He has 4 good pitches that he can throw for strikes at any time with a multitude of variations on each pitch. I look for him to be aggressive today and try to get ahead of the hitters.
I think Dick Stockton will tell you we'll know right away about Tiant.
If Louis Tiant has his control, he'll be all right. And, of course, that's where you'll see the head feints and all the body fakes that he likes to do. He's people call him an exotic type of a pitcher. If he doesn't have his control, he'll be in trouble. And, of course, he has to get his fastball in there.
The umpires today, they're all working in their first World Series. Behind the plate will be Art France of the American League. Nick Calusi of the National League working at first. Larry Barnett of the American League at second. Dick Stello of the National League at third. He's a Boston, Massachusetts man, by the way. Down the left field line, covering will be George Maloney of the American League, and Satch Davidson of the National League is working the right field line. One of baseball's best players over a long stretch, Pete Rose, batting .317, a switch hitter. Great fan of the game. He knows every batting average of every player in the major league. Ball one to him. You fans know all about these players. You studied them all year and followed them on NBC's Game of the Week, Monday Night Baseball. We're going to let you watch a lot of the action. They play Rose slightly toward left. Fouls it into the seats. A ball and a strike to Pete Rose. The on-deck batter, Little Joe Morgan. And then you get into the big boys, Johnny Bench, Perez, and Foster. That's Morgan.
That last pitch was a good sign for Tiant. He had the ball by Pete Rose, and if he's got his good fastball, it'll set up his off-speed stuff.
He has 6 different pitches that come from everywhere. There's a changeup. That's foul out of play. I asked him about his knuckleball. He says, no throw knuckleball. Knuckleball no good. He is a wit of the ballpark. The fans, he may be one of the most beloved players the Red Sox have ever had. He was washed up a few years ago with a bad arm and came back. A miraculous comeback. 1 ball, 2 strike delivery. High and away, 2-2. The A's said last week he had better than an average major league fastball. Of course, that makes all these other dipsy-doodle stuff look pretty good. 2-2 count to Pete Rose. We're just underway. There's his hesitation pitch. That's his hesitation pitch.
Look at Pete.
Pete says, what is that? What was that?
Throw me another one.
He borrowed that a page out of Satchel Paige's book. 3-2. And Rose hammers a fastball foul into the seat.
Well, this is what Rose likes to do, stay alive and wait for his pitch. Tiant did not win 20 games for the first time in 3 seasons, Kurt. However, in the month of September, once his back problems were solved, he was as good as old.
Rose hit a fastball off young Candelaria down there in Game 3 of the National League for a home run. He's a great fastball hitter. There's another foul. Rose will do this, hang in there tough on you. He's a tough out. He gets a piece of the ball most of the time.
It was Pete whose wife Carolyn taped some of the championship series games. Watching Tiant, he studies this game, and a difficult thing for the Cincinnati Ball Club, I think, Kurt Dick, is to be able to pick up Tiant's pitches. He throws sidearms sometimes over the top, 3/4, and you just lose a split second.
And he had another 200-hit season, 7 for him. He's chasing Ty Cobb's record. There's a bounding ball to Denny Doyle. Big hop to him. There's the first out of the first game. 1 away. We may have in this series, and it's usually fitting that we do, the 2 most valuable players of their respective leagues. This is a heavy favorite to win the National League, Joe Morgan, and Fred Lynn is a favorite to become the most valuable player in the American League. A remarkable story because he's a rookie. Morgan's been around. Now, Morgan has everything, and maybe like Sugar Ray, inch for inch and pound for pound, he may be the strongest batter in baseball. Look at those credentials. And he can hit a line drive into the right field grandstand here very easily. He's a pull hitter, and he'll pull the ball sharply into the corner. And the corner here is not too far away. He has a line shot to Doyle. 2 down. Well, they've done what they did against the A's. They've kept the Rabbits off the baseline so far.
Absolutely, and of course, Morgan, like so many of the other Reds, are dead fastball hitters, and Louis gave him a breaking ball right there, and so we can expect to see a lot of that this afternoon.
Here's the big gun in the Cincinnati lineup, 28 homers, another 100 RBI season, hit 283. He didn't hit well in the playoffs. He had only 1 out of 13. He had a groin pull the last month, but he was swinging well yesterday in the warm-ups. There's a pitch to the sky. That's his head job saluting the man upstairs. Nothing in 1. He's fun to watch. Not fun to hit against. 2 down, nobody on. Johnny Bench the batter. First inning. They have a shift on against Bench. I'll tell you an interesting statistic, and it's a very odd statistic. Johnny Bench hit over 50 foul home runs this year. 50 foul homers. Now, with a 315-foot wall, some of those foul balls may not be foul by the time they get to the wall. 2-strike delivery. High and away.
Kurt, that's one of the reasons why Bench pulls so many balls foul in the left field corner, because they change speeds. I mean, he's an excellent fastball hitter. They pull the string a lot.
1-2 pitch. Throw him a high fastball. He just showed him that one. Got him thinking a little bit. 2-2. Another tremendous right-handed slugger's on deck, Tony Perez, who should be at home in this ballpark. 2 down, bases empty. 2-2 pitch. Way inside, 3-2. Dick, there's Perez. Tiant does not look as sharp to me with his control as he did against the A's in the playoffs.
No, he is not so far, Kurt. Of course, I think what he has to rely on is keeping the hitters off balance. It was successful against Oakland, and so far off the first 2 batters, he has been successful there, but he has fallen behind.
3-2 delivery. There's a fly ball, shallow right. Evans is waiting for it, and the Reds go quietly down 1-2-3 in the top of the first. At the end of the first half inning, they'll score.
I asked Johnny Bench before the ball game how the young but experienced in postseason play Don Gullett will pitch up here in Fenway Park, Boston, with that left field wall. Here's Johnny.
Don Gullett will be Don Gullett today. He knows no other way to pitch. Mostly we'll go with the fastballs. You'll see a fork ball, and we'll try to mix in a curveball and slider against some of the left-hand pitchers. But because of the Green Monster, we're not going to change too much. We have our scouting reports. We're going to go to their weaknesses, and we're not going to let any Green Monster bother us.
All right, Johnny, you sized it up pretty well. You got to play your own ball game in this park. Only one left-hander starting was a winner here this year, and that was young Waite of the Cleveland Indians. But a left-hander can win here easily if he has overpowering stuff or a sinker ball or a screwball the way Mel Parnell used to have. And Gullett is overpowering.
Bill Lee is going to pitch tomorrow for the Red Sox, has that sinker ball, and he's been successful here.
White Evans is the leadoff batter. This is a strange spot for him. With a designated hitter, they'd have Cooper Beniquez leading off. Here's the first pitch by Gullett, and it's foul back, and Evans was ripping away at a fastball. Gullett's fastball rides in on you, sails away from you, has a good curve and a fork ball. He has the best active record of any pitcher in the major leagues in win and loss percent of over 100 decisions. He's won 80 and lost 41. Oh, he can pop that ball. I want to tell you, he's just 24. Real greatness ahead of him. Broken thumb, missed 2 months and still won 15 games this year and lost only 4. Swinging late on him. A ball and 2 strikes. Denny Doyle's on deck, and then Yastrzemski.
The way they've been getting him out, Kurt, Dwight Evans, is to feed him some off-speed pitches. But if you make a mistake, he can take you deep.
Oddly enough, that bottom piece of literature shows Gullett has already pitched in a World Series. There's a ground ball, base hit. That Gullett. There goes his no-hitter. Gullett is starting his 5th World Series game. He's only 24, and 35-year-old Tiant's never pitched in a World Series game.
Kurt, that was Gullett's fork ball. He'll throw 8 or 10 of them during the course of the game, but in this ballpark, I think it's very important that he establishes he can get a change of speed, pitch over the plate. If they keep laying back to the fastball, eventually he'll get hurt. He'll go some games, so 8, 9 out of 10 pitches fastball.
Here's Denny Doyle. What a name for the Red Sox. And what a job he did after he joined them from the Angels, hitting .298. He's an excellent bunter, by the way. The best bunter on the Red Sox.
One of the things the Red Sox did to get them here, Kurt, they executed well. They played good, sound, fundamental baseball, including moving the runner over, hitting the cutoff man in the outfield. These are the things that the Red Sox and Denny Doyle especially excelled in.
That's how you win. The Reds do the same thing. Runner on first. And the bunt. Beautiful bunt. Perez tags him out. Down to second is Evans. Doyle can lay that ball on a dime.
Kurt, there's an indication that Darrell Johnson, the Red Sox manager, thinks it might be a low-scoring game, and of course the weather still might be a factor. Doyle and Burleson have been very effective maneuvering with the bat during the season.
And the roar you hear in the background as you watch the rerun is a standing ovation for Carl Yastrzemski, who went back from 36 to 26, took 10 years off his life the way he played against Oakland in the American League playoffs. Captain Carl, the hero of the impossible dream in '67. Low and outside to him for a ball. Yastrzemski was booed here in the latter part of the year. Hit only .210 after the All-Star game. But then he ran amok against the A's. 5 out of 11. Had a homer and fielded perfectly. Ball 2.
He's proven that he's a money player, Kurt. When the big games come and the money games are there, Carl Yastrzemski comes through. And he said the best play he ever made was the ball in which he cut off that extra base hit by Jackson in that 3rd playoff game.
He's the best left fielder I've ever seen. Played first base most of the year. That's ball 3 to him, 3-0. Outside of Kubek, of course. I forgot, you played a little left field, didn't you?
A little bit in this park, not too often. It'll drive you up a wall sometimes.
Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit, about George Foster playing the left field wall. 3-0 to Yastrzemski. 1 out. Evans at second, no score. He's on. Red Sox have runners on first and second. And a powerhouse right-handed batter coming up, Carlton Fisk, who hit .331. Played a little more than half the season. Had knee surgery last year and a broken arm this year.
Kurt, when he came back, the Red Sox were 6 games over 500, and when he returned, they won 10 in a row, and that was their hot spot of the season.
He had a great playoff, 5 out of 12 against Oakland. Now, he's a pull hitter. He can also hit the ball hard on the ground into a double play. Evans at second, Yastrzemski at first, 1 out. No score. The game started in a light shower. The rain has stopped. It's a damp, raw day here. Fastball strike. 0-1 to Fisk. A left-handed batter. The Rookie of the Year of the American League, Freddie Lynn, is on deck. Evans, the lead runner. Yastrzemski at first. They can both run. Pop up, out and back a second. Morgan backpedaling. Infield fly rule called. Batter automatically out. Runners advance at their own risk. 2 down, and here's Freddie Lynn. Listen to the ovation for him. You know, Don Zimmer's been around baseball 29 years. He's an old National Leaguer. And he said, I was with the great Dodger teams. I never saw anybody have a year like this kid from the opening day of the season to the last. He never hit below 330. He never hit above 350. Led the league in doubles. Just about everything. There's a bounding ball. This will be a tough play. And everybody's safe. Here comes Evans, and Evans is out at home plate. Morgan is claiming that he was obstructed with. Interfered with trying to field that ball. He was interfered with, but he's not going to argue.
Pete Rose out there, too.
That's the end of the first inning. No score.
Here's a play that was argued on a little bit. Yastrzemski, and the rule reads that he was supposed to give Morgan a path. It was interference. It was not called. But watch this play by Concepcion. Getting the runner. Zimmer sending him on. Dwight Evans. Concepcion with a fine play.
Perez going after one of Tiant's baffling slow deliveries for a strike. Perez hit 282 this year, 109 RBIs. There was talk of trading him away. They're glad they didn't. He had a great playoff, 5 out of 12 outside. Tony and Dick, Zimmer was very aggressive in the playoffs, running against Oakland. That time he may have been a little bit too aggressive.
First inning against the A's, he forced a mistake by Washington.
There's a drive to right fielder Dwight Evans. Ball is not carrying the right field today. Against the wind. Evans is the best defensive right fielder in the American League.
Don Zimmer has been aggressive all season long as a third base coach. He feels that most of the time he'll send the man because you need a good throw. The man has to pick up the ball, and so it's paid off really for the Red Sox.
Alex Grammas is the Red coach. Here's a man that quietly has sneaked up on everyone. George Foster hit 300, had 23 homers, 78 RBIs. He should like this ballpark if he gets a pitch to pull. Reds got him from the Giants, and he's developed into quite a ball player, as has Geronimo. They made some great deals. 1 out, nobody on. Tiant so delivered for a strike. He comes everywhere but between his legs, and he may do that in the ball game. Sidearm, 3/4, overhand. That's a line shot to see. 2 down. Reds have hit 2 line drives for out.
Well, you know, when Jim Rice got hurt, a lot of people thought it would hurt the Red Sox. They swept the A's, but defensively it might have helped him. Carl Yastrzemski had a great playoff in left field, and Cecil Cooper is young, agile, and quick at first base, and we saw why right there.
They have about 4 or 5 young stars in this team. Will be a nucleus for the next 10 years. Cooper is one of them. Dave Concepcion hit 274 for the season. 5 homers, 49 RBIs, and had an excellent playoff series against the Pirates, 5 out of 11. Hit a home run off Candelaria in Game 3. What a game that youngster pitched, by the way. Strike by Tiant. The old man now is honing in, Sparky. Yeah, he's honing in. He's got the radar going now. Sparky was teasing him about his mustache yesterday. He's just showing himself. Just watch him. You'll see that 23 all day from the front and the back. 1 ball, 1 strike to Concepcion. 2 down, nobody on, no score. Check swing. 1-2.
I think one of the great moments of the season when Louis Tiant beat Jim Palmer 2-0 for the Red Sox at Fenway Park. As we see Tiant pitching again, the fans started to yell, "Louis, Louis, Louis." It became a big chant here, and you see why. He really dazzles the folks.
I think he's put together with nails and pegs. There's a changeup hit high in the air to left. Yastrzemski drifting toward the corner, has room right into the green door. And that's it, 3 up and 3 down. At the end of an inning and a half, 0-0. Rico Petrocelli, veteran Red Sox third baseman, starts off the second. First pitch to him's outside for a ball. Rico hit .239 this year. Had a homer against the A's in the playoffs. Ball 2, Gullett walked a man in the first and was behind a couple of hitters, and now he's behind Petrocelli 2-0. He got out of a jam, though, when he had fists popping up and Lynn tapping out. Shows you the kind of stuff he has. He can overpower. 3-0. He caught his spikes in the mound that time.
Kurt, you can see right away what happens to left-handed pitchers in Fenway, or opposing pitchers, but especially left-handers. The first 2 pitches, he was shooting for the outside corner. You start missing out there, and you can get in trouble.
3-0 to Petrocelli. A right-hander, Burleson's on deck. Then a left-hander, Cooper. Walking. The second walk by Gullett. Gullett this year averaged just over 3 walks every 9 innings.
Number 7.
He's not wild.
Rick Burleson.
He's just wild enough for that stuff he has. You don't dig in there. Rick Burleson, the indispensable man for the Red Sox. Sticks in big hits, makes timely plays for you. A real spunky, battling type of ball player.
Kurt, I want to ask Dick something. Did they hit and run with him much during the season, Burleson?
Not too much. The reason why Burleson has not hit the number 2 position is because he really hasn't been able to go to right field as much.
5 balls in a row delivered by Don Gullett. We have no score. The first 6 Reds up have gone down. The Red Sox had a threat in the first, and now they have Petrocelli at first base, nobody out in the last of the second. 1-0 pitch, left the butt, fastball for a strike, 1-1. Pete Rose, they may try and bunt on Pete Rose. Burleson was asking everybody about Rose. Rose is a star and supposed to be the only weak defensive player because that's not his position. He's playing there because they wanted him to. And he's done the job, all of Pepper Martin. 2-1. He's a team player.
Kurt, I think a lot of the Red Sox scouts feel that Rose, who doesn't mind coming in for bunt plays on artificial turf, may mind the natural grass here.
In fact, the grass may be a factor today, especially after it rained. The Reds are used to artificial turf. You lay back there, the ball will bounce over your head. There goes the runner. And it's a base hit off Rose's glove to left. Here comes Petrocelli to third. Red Sox have runners on first and third, playing hit and run.
Gullett so far has missed with a fastball. He's had to come in with off-speed stuff. That last one looked like another forkball on a 2-1 count or a curveball, and they've hit it.
I think, Tony and Dick, what we may see today is the Red Sox try and take an extra base on ground balls through because the Reds may not figure in charging the ball. It's a wet, heavy grass here.
Don Zimmer feels that, especially when the grass is wet, the outfielder has to come in and pick it up and make the play and then throw. He's willing to take a gamble.
All right, runners on first and third, nobody out. Red Sox are threatening again. Gullett in 7 batters faced has given up 3 hits and 2 walks. Given up 2 hits, 2 walks. 3 hits. They gave Lynn a hit. Fastball for a strike to Cooper. Is an excellent hitter. Hit .311 for the year. 4 out of 10 in the playoffs. He's a hitter that's getting better every month he plays. Line drive. He can hit for distance. He'll hit a lot of balls in the gap for doubles.
He'll hit left-handers, too.
Had a rip at that one. 2 strikes to Cecil Cooper.
Cooper might be the best fastball hitter on this Red Sox club. It's tough to sneak a pitch by him, and with Gullett coming almost straight over the top, he's not going to back you out of the box if you're a left-handed hitter. Cooper will hang tough.
Petrocelli at third, Burleson at first, nobody out. There's a foul ball. Gullett trying to blow the fastball by him. Lead runner Petrocelli. Burleson at first. No score. Last half the second. 26 years old is Cecil Cooper. Most of the players in this team are 23, 22, 24, 25, and 6. He's high with it. I'd say that the Red Sox team is right where the A's team was about 3 years ago. Just starting to develop and become stars. And maybe not quite as good now as they're going to be 2 or 3 years from now. The Reds have some young stars, too. And they've had 3 or 4 veterans that have been through it all. 1-2. Fouled again.
I think it's interesting, Kurt, that during the championship series against Oakland was supposed to be the team that was going to run wild. And on the base pass anyway, the Red Sox pressured the defense, and the same is happening, although it's early, at today. They're running the bases. Zimmer's got them moving, as does Darrell Johnson.
The A's did not steal a base against the Red Sox in the 3 games. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Cecil Cooper. Got him on a high, hard one. First strikeout recorded by Don Gullett. And here comes Louis Tiant. He's been up only once this year. In fact, he's the only Red Sox pitcher who's been to bat in the last 3 years. He's not bad. He's had 5 home runs in his career.
He's not a bad, good, he's a good first
bad
ball
hitter or a bad good hitter.
Either one. He's a good, fast first ball hitter. He'll surprise you. If Gullett comes in with a fastball on the first pitch, Tiant will take a pretty good rip at it.
All right, we watch for anything here now. Runners on first and third, 1 out. He took a rip at it, all right.
Calls it a catcher's glove when again.
I didn't like that swing. Tony. What do you
Watch
think?
Louis. He lost that swing that he learned many years ago down in Cuba. The ball was by him. If he lofts a fly ball to the outfield, we're going to see some fun because they've got some pretty good throwing arms in the Cincinnati outfield. They're playing shallow.
And they're playing very shallow. High. 1-1. You might watch for a sacrifice here. Petrocelli's at third. Burleson at first. The wind is blowing in from first to third. When this wind comes in, sometimes you don't score a lot of runs at Fenway. It can be a pitcher's ballpark instead of a pitcher's nightmare. 1 ball, 1 strike. High fastball. He had his cut. Now what?
There's Darrell flashing some signs to Don Zimmer. Even with 2 strikes, he may switch to keep out of the double play. Keep something going, have Tiant try and lay one down. He's out of the double play.
He's even laughing at Tiant. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Runners on first and third, 1 out. Struck him out on a curveball. That's 2 strikeouts, and Gullett is pitching in the clutch when he's had to. He had runners on first and second, 1 out. Pitched out of the first. Runners on first and third, nobody out, and it struck out Cooper and Tiant. Dwight Evans coming up. Evans, single to left his first time. Here's a fellow that I think defensively has already proven it, but is not yet, Dick, as good a hitter as he's going to become.
No, he didn't start hitting until August of this season. Really was in a slump early. In fact, Bernie Carbo played most of right field until the latter part of the year.
All right, 2 runners lead away, 2 down. He was trying to go to right field with that outside pitch. That's the way to do it. Don't try and pull that fastball of Gullett's when it's outside to you. Just pop it up or ground it out to the right side. The right fielder today playing shallower for both clubs than he normally would with the wind blowing in from that direction. Foul back. Gullett has him 2 strikes. Here's a fellow, one of the great foul ball catchers. So is Fisk in baseball. Either one will have much room to operate today. They'll have a lot more room in Cincinnati. Most foul balls are in the seats here. 0-2. And fans can reach right out and touch the ball players at Fenway. Fly ball down the right field line. The wind may keep it playable. It does. And Griffey has it in foul ground to retire the side. No runs, a hit, 2 left at the end of 2, no score. Al Tiante will face the talented young Ken Griffey, who beat out 38 infield hits during the year. He's been clocked in 3.5 going to first base. He's developed into quite a ball player. Was born in Stan Musial's hometown of Donora, Pennsylvania. And the infield is in on him. You have to play in, and unload that ball quickly. Strike. El Tiante has not allowed an earned run in his last 27 innings here at Fenway Park. And that's pitching, my friend, in this little ballpark. Griffey, Geronimo, and Gullett. Change up. Doyle grabs it, throws to first, and got him. Good play.
Red Sox season changed when Denny Doyle joined them in Kansas City in mid-June. The big acquisition.
He has been a spark, and it's interesting that on a change of speed pitch, normally a second baseman would be breaking toward first base because he would pull the ball more, but Doyle got an excellent jump. Going to his right, he scraps every minute, as does his partner at around second base, Rick Burleson.
You know, Tony, he's a winning player that never had a chance to play in a winning team. Finally got his shot. Cesar Geronimo, the batter. He hits a high smash right center. The wind may hold it up. Freddie Lynn's calling for it. 2 down. I told Fred Lynn Sunday night, or Saturday night in a parking lot, I said, I broadcast Joe DiMaggio, Dominic DiMaggio, Jim Pearsall, 3 of the best. You're the most deceptive center fielder I've ever seen. He looks like he's not covering any ground. He just glides to the ball. Makes plays look easy. And we'll see 2 of the best today in Geronimo and in this series, Geronimo and Lynn.
Kurt, they talk about pitchers not hitting. Well, the championship series against Pittsburgh, the man coming out of the dugout, Don Gullett, he popped his first major league home run. Dizzy Dean would have loved him. Larry Demery, pitcher for Pittsburgh.
That was a big hit. That made that game easy for Gullett. He has 2 comparatively good seasons back-to-back, 238 and 226. Any pitcher that hits over 200 is doing a good job. 2 down, nobody on. The Reds have actually hit the ball harder than the Red Sox, but haven't had a base runner. There's a high fly to Yastrzemski, an easy play in left field. Captain Carl has it. Only 4 pitches for Tiant in that inning. No score, 2.5 gone. This is our handheld camera peeping out of the scoreboard right behind George Foster. We had some marvelous shots with this camera in the American League playoffs. Well, the story is Tiant's retired 9 in a row. Some of the balls were hit hard off him, though. While the Red Sox have had 2 men on in each the first and second. But then young Don Gullett settled down and got him out. Now it's Doyle, Yastrzemski, and Fitz. 2 left-handers and a right-hander. Doyle fouls it out of play. We told you before the game, the wind is so important in any park, but especially at Fenway. And the wind today is coming off the river, in from the right field corner toward third base. And it's holding up balls in the center field and the right field. What a curve he's got. Just drops off the end of the table. They call that a strike on him. They appealed to Dick Stallo at third. He said it was a strike. He committed himself.
Well, that's the way they have to pitch to Doyle, because if you come in with the fastball, he can line a shot down the right field line into the grandstand. He's hit 4 homers this year.
Playing Doyle very shallow in left center, Geronimo. He usually plays deep. There's a sharp hit ball to Joe Morgan at second. We have 1 down for the Red Sox. And after the first 2 innings, they had their leadoff man on. Doyle goes out. Red Sox, before they sold all their players to the Yankees, won more world championships than any team in baseball. Then they unloaded fellows like Wade Hoyt, Babe Ruth, a kid named Babe Ruth. They have won 5, lost 2 in World Series competition. They lost to the Cardinals in modern times, 46, 7 games, and to the Cardinals in 67 in 7 games. 2 balls, no strikes to Yastrzemski. The rape of the Red Sox, they called it. Carl Mays, they sold him. Harry Frazee, the theatrical man, needed more money for his dramatic shows. Here's the drama right out here. 2 balls, 1 strike to Carl Yastrzemski. Don Gullett from Lynn, Kentucky, all state and everything, including backgammon. It's a hot shot to shortstop Concepcion. And we have 2 down. Carlton Fisk popped up with 2 runners on his first time.
Number 27.
I guess, most, Tony and Dick, most managers, experts think the 4 best pitchers in baseball right now are Palmer, Hunter, Seaver, and this youngster out in the mound. Now they're talking about pitchers with still some years left. Tian on a given day can beat anybody, as he's already proven. But Gullett is certainly one of the 4 best pitchers in the game, and he's only 24 years old.
As far as the Red Sox are concerned, in a way he resembles Vida Blue. He has that kind of a fastball, but he probably has better breaking stuff than Blue.
2 down, nobody on, no score, last of the 3rd. Game 1 of the series. A slate gray day. We started in a light drizzle here. The rain has stopped, but a dampness permeating Fenway Field. A high foul over toward the Red Sox dugout and out of play. Balls hit toward the right side are being held up by the wind, too. They may drift back into playable territory. See the white-haired man down there? He's Boston's favorite, Tip O'Neill, the congressman. There with Treasurer Simon and his wife. We'll get into that celebrity row later on. Right now, we have a 3-1 count to Carlton Fisk, 2 down. Pudge Fisk. There's a high drive to left field, way up, way up. But the wind is holding it up, and it's caught by Foster, and he judged it perfectly. You couldn't play it easier than that. 3 up, 3 down at the end of 3, no score. Here's a rerun of that high blast of Fisk. If the wind was blowing out today, this would have been up on the screen for a home run. Foster gauges it perfectly.
Number 14. Pete Rose.
Pete Rose at the head of the red batting order leading off. He'll be followed by Joe Morgan and Johnny Bench. Rose grounded out his first time. He hits out of a deep crouch. You always wonder how a fella sees the ball. Sometimes they see it better out of a crouch, don't they, Tony?
Yeah. It's better if there's a little bit of a glare, which there is not today, and I think the hitters are grateful for that.
Sharp ground ball to Denny Doyle. The Reds are stinging the ball, but right at somebody. And now Tian has retired the first 10 batters.
Number 8.
Joe Morgan lined out to second his first time.
Joe Morgan.
When Tian returned from his back problems late August, early September, his first start was against the Tigers. He had a no-hitter going into the 8th inning. Aurelio Rodriguez broke it up with a single.
Joe didn't hit like he can in that championship series. He wound up 4th in batting in the National League this year. There's the changeup at the strike. He put his name on it, his street address, and his telephone number.
Here's that little dipsy doodle. Slow curveball. Morgan, an excellent fastball hitter.
Morgan lines the first hit for the Reds into center field. And he's the first base runner. Now the drama starts. Can Joe Morgan run on Carlton Fisk? Tian, does he balk? Some say he does, some say he doesn't. What to watch for? He'll wiggle his hand and ball down, the glove and the ball down. If he stops, he has to pitch out of that stop position. And he just can't flip the ball to first base. He has to make a move with his free foot or his left foot to first, or it's a balk. So you have one of the great base runners of modern times on first. He stole 67 bases this year out of 77 attempts. Oh, Lordy, that's some record.
He will get a big lead early. He wants to draw throws from Tian. He wants to see all of his moves to home plate and to first base. Tian has a bundle of them, just like Bill Lee tomorrow will have.
The Reds were successful in over 80% of their steals. Morgan's a great teacher to his teammates, too. He works with them. Videotape machine. Foul ball by Johnny Bench. You play differently in this park, even the opponents, though. You don't run yourself out of innings there because the high fly can win it for you or be up in the screen. But today the wind is holding balls up to the outfield. The wind is going to be very important. Bench fly to right his first time. Morgan at first. 1 strike. Tian drives him back.
That's exactly what Joe wants. He wants to see every move as early as he can, and he relay the information to Concepcion, to Griffey, to Foster. He's got a big lead.
No score, 4th inning. Ooh, a little closer. That's all right. Morgan likes it that way. He wants to measure him off.
Right now, he's taking what they call the base stealers the one-way lead. A little bit longer than normal. He's leaning a little bit back toward first base. He wants to draw a throw.
Fenway Park fans, they had him. In Cincinnati, they wouldn't be saying a word.
Oh, Joe might have been gone. Let's look at it again. Watch this. Watch Morgan just lean towards second base. He got the feet crossed up, which doesn't happen often with Joe.
What do you think, Tony?
I'll tell you, he had the hand in. Had Cooper been able to tag that hand instead of up on the elbow,
I think he had his hand back.
Tell you what, if the throw had been more toward the first base side, he definitely would have been out. Cooper had to move his hand over to make that tag.
It's a pretty good duel right here.
This is a real duel going on. Real gunfighter duel now here. Tiant and Morgan. We forgot all about Bench. He's the batter.
Balk!
He called a balk.
Morgan yelled immediately when he threw.
Now here's
Here
Darrell
comes
Johnson coming out to argue with the National League umpire who called the balk.
Now, one of the ways they will call a balk on Tiant is if he throws to first base and then step. The rule says you must step toward first base and then throw. And
This was
Tiant
a
has
controversy, Tony, before the series. The Reds claimed he balked. And they got a National League umpire who called it at first.
I'll say this, Kurt and Dick, the National League umpires during the course of the year have called this balk on National League pitchers all year long. Watch Tiant. Does he throw and then step? That is the key. There is the balk. And it's splitting some pretty fine hairs. And it's difficult to see. We'll see Tiant all by himself. Watch his leg. Watch his left foot. Does he step first and then throw, or does he throw and then step? That's the key for you fans. I'll tell you, that looked like a legitimate move to me.
Did me too.
He's got one that's worse than that when he does balk, but that was a legitimate move, I think.
Boy, he's mad. He's glaring at Nick Colosi over at first base. Of course, the National League umpire is sort of on the spot here with Tiant. Really, they were put on the spot before the series started.
Here's the way this guy's pitched all his career, and you can't expect him to change. On the other hand, the umpires are used to one thing.
Morgan's at second on a balk, 1 out. Johnny Bench, the batter. 1 strike to him. Bench fouls it back. It's 0-2. 0-2. It did not look. Well, I think you all judge it yourself that he took a step toward home plate. Took that legitimate step toward first.
Well, he wasn't called for a balk all of 75, and he claimed.
Boy, the Red Sox are giving it to Colosi. Colosi now is pointing in. And Darrell Johnson, they're on him now. They're really on him out of the Red Sox dugout.
Umpires will be much more patient during the course of a World Series.
That's
They're
Bernie
instructed by the
Carbo.
commissioner's office.
Bernie Carbo used to play in the National League. They've got the explosion starting already here. Tiant's the central figure. There's a high fly. That'll be blown into the seats down the left field line. Tiant's mad, his manager's mad, and the Red Sox squad's mad. And while they all cool off, we'll pause for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network. Kurt Gowdy, Dick Stockton, Tony Kubek. Louis Tiant has balked Joe Morgan II. The Red Sox fans and team are on the National League umpire at first, Nick Colosi. Meantime, the count to Johnny Bench is 2 strikes. There's no score in the 4th inning with 1 out. Watch Morgan. He can go to third. Tiant knows it. Doyle trying to keep him close. Outside. A ball and 2 strikes.
Kurt, I think what we've seen so far in this controversy, and it's a pretty good testimony that just possibly umpiring should be under one jurisdiction, maybe the commissioner's office, so they umpire the same way in both leagues. Same strike zone, same ball calls, same interpretation of rules.
You don't understand how the World Series is played under different sets of rules in the regular season. American League uses the designated hitter, the National League doesn't. I'm just reporting facts, and yet in the World Series, they play the National League rules.
Also, the position of umpires on second base calls, also the chest protector being worn inside and out. So there are differences, there's no question about it.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Johnny Bench. Bench played as a pull hitter to left field. and back deep. I can't imagine the Bach disturbing Tiant that much. He just has too much savvy and know-how to get upset.
He's been around so much. Yesterday after practice, I said, look, how do you feel about it? And just in case the controversy comes up, he says, no, it doesn't bother me. He says, I expect it. If it happens, I'll just go along and pitch.
Bothered him for a little while. He walked over and said something to Colosi. 3-2. Johnny Bench, he had a 2-strike count. Now he's leveled it off. Bench chopping away at a low fastball.
Kurt, I'll say one thing. I don't know if you can ever call an umpire's decision courageous, but if there ever was one to call a balk on Louis Tiant at Fenway Park,
I'll give him credit for that.
I will too.
With these kind of fans they have here in Boston, this isn't the Boston Red Sox, it's really the New England Red Sox. The whole area has adopted him and has for years. There's Darrell Johnson. Joe Morgan single after 1 out, the first hit, the first base runner, and then went to second on a balk called on Louis Tiant. 3-2 delivery. Bench pops it foul into the seats and back of first base. Sparky Anderson, just watching the ball game right now. 41 years old. We kid him, call him the Silver Fox, what kind of silver rinse he's using. Very attractive man. He's personable, he's enthusiastic. Yet he keeps a stern hand, demands no mustaches, no long hair with his players, ties, jackets. The whole Red organization, a very disciplined outfit. Doyle is going to shade Bench anyway, so now the fans give it the old balk call.
You see an experienced pitcher. A lot of young pitchers might have gone right ahead to home plate with Doyle out of position. Tiant just very calmly stepped back.
3-2 pitch to Johnny Bench coming up again. Foul ball, he lost his bat. There's a play right there that we want to warn you National League fans about. And it's a play that Concepcion, I know, has been warned about. When a ball goes by third fair, and we've talked about this all during the years on the game of the week, and hits that jutting out portion of the stands, the shortstop must field that ball, not the left fielder, which is just another one of the tricks of this ballpark. That was foul all the way, that last one. 3-2 to Johnny Bench. Morgan at second, 1 out. No score, 4th inning. Again a foul ball.
Bench had his problems in the championship series. He struck out a lot, and this is no excuse for Johnny, but he was in a collision at home plate earlier in the year. He injured his left shoulder. He has not been able to get the bat out almost all season long on fastballs high and tight. And ordinarily, Johnny is an inside hitter. He likes to pull the ball, likes the ball in a little bit.
One out. Morgan at second. 3-2 count to Johnny Bench. Tony Perez on deck. The Reds hitting in the 4th. 108 wins this year. A sweep of the playoffs. One of the great teams of modern times. They have an 8-game winning streak coming into the opening game of the World Series. And he fouls it again. Boy, he's making Tiant work. After Tiant threw only 4 pitches to get him out in the 3rd, Perez, classy veteran, real gentleman, also a Cuban, as is Tiant. They must have about 50 major leaguers stocked up over there right now. They can really play ball, and they love it. 3-2. Just a piece of it.
This is about the same thing that happened to the Oakland A's against Tiant. They thought they were on his fastball, but they were just missing it, just behind it, popping the ball to center field. Let's look at Bench's swing again. A little bit behind it.
Pitch was right in the heart of the plate, Tony.
He'll surprise you. With all the different motions, the fastball is on you quicker than you think.
Joe Morgan getting his lead at second. 1 out. No score. 3-2 to Johnny Bench. There goes Morgan. And it's popped up. Carlton Fisk will have a play on this one. The wind helped him. Kept it out of the box seat. Morgan had a tremendous jump on Tiant. Line drive at somebody. We'd had a double play.
You know, everybody all week long have been asking Carlton Fisk about the Cincinnati runners. He says, you know, you can judge a catcher by other things besides his throw to second, how he calls a game, how he sets up, how he handles pop-ups. And Fisk, all he has heard in the playoffs and here in the World Series, Oakland's running, Cincinnati's running.
I think today we're watching the two best catchers in baseball. I mean, for their ages, what they can do with a bat, throwing.
Munson's not bad.
Munson's a great player. You always get on Munson. I think he's one of the best and a tremendous competitor.
I think another thing that Fisk does well, Dick, and you've talked about a lot in your local telecast, he blocks pitches well, which is important against a team like Cincinnati to keep him to that one base.
Perez flat out his first time. No score in the fourth. Changeup is high to Perez, that big floater. George Foster on deck. Took 13 pitches to get Johnny Bench out, as Foster now is watching Tiant. Trying to study all those wiggles and waggles.
It's interesting, too, Kurt, that the first inning, Tiant threw a lot of pitches. He had an easy inning. He's throwing a lot of pitches this inning. See if he stiffens up with that back in this cool weather.
Let's see if this one is out of play. It's coming back toward the netting. 1 ball, 1 strike to Perez. Perez became the all-time Cincinnati RBI leader on September 2nd, passing quite a ball player and hitter Frank Robinson. He has now driven in 1,024 runs in a red uniform. One ball, 1 strike. Morgan at second, 2 outs. The Reds nothing, the Red Sox nothing. Right by him up the ladder. He had him just climbing up. A ball and 2 strikes to Perez. Tony used to be a third baseman. They moved him to first. They say they're going to move Bench to first or left field later on to prolong his career. They have a good young catcher named Werner. Louie, Louie. Fans start chanting. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He's got him. No runs. 1 hit, 1 left. At the end of 3.5, no score. Well, we've had no score, but we've had plenty of excitement. Johnny Bench just threw the ball into center field. Don Gullett will face Fred Lynn, Rico Petrocelli, Rick Burleson. Frank Robinson, we were talking about him. He's been rehired as the Cleveland manager.
Fred Lynn.
And they say he did a fine job with the Indians. Lynn had an infield hit his first time up.
Questionable one.
High and outside, bluffed a bunt, ball 1. Out of the University of Southern California. He was not drafted until the 2nd round his senior year. They let him go by all those ball clubs the first time. So the scouts are not letter perfect.
They got some bad reports, surprisingly enough. They said he couldn't hit left-handed pitching, that he'd want too much money. There were a lot of negative reports about Fred Lynn, and that's why he lasted that long.
The Red Sox are glad he lasted, and count now to him, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Said he's used to playing on winning teams, except for Pawtucket in the minor leagues. He hits a foul back toward our way. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Fred Lynn. He does everything. Hits with power, runs, throws, and was just born to play Major League Baseball. Has the instinct to make the right play. Really had 4 homers in 1 game this year. He had 3 homers, a triple that missed a home run by Hoffar, Dick.
By about 2 feet off the left field fence in Detroit. In fact, that was the game that really projected him into the national picture.
10 RBIs in that game.
16 total bases, 3 home runs.
Imagine a rookie hitting 4 homers in a game. He had 3 and just missed the 4th one by a couple of feet. Nobody on, nobody out. 3-2 to Fred Lynn. Don Gullett. Lynn pops it up. Concepcion waiting for it. One down.
Kurt, with the kind of fastball that Gullett has, he likes to pitch that fastball high in the strike zone. He's at a little bit of an advantage today because there's an American League umpire behind home plate. He'll get some of those high pitches, which can be important to him, especially in this park.
Rico Petrocelli walked his first time up. I don't know, you hear that about give you the low strike of the National, high strike of the American. There's a drive in the deep center. Geronimo drawing the beat on it. 2 down. Again, the wind held the ball up. 2 up, 2 down. Rick Burleson coming up. I remember when all those great sluggers came into Boston in the 60s for the All-Star game. They went into extra innings and played a 1-1 tie. Nobody could hit the fence. The wind was coming in. Burleson, single to left his first time.
Some people think this is a better park for a left-handed hitter.
I think it's a left-handed hitting ballpark. Always have. I saw William, Yastrzemski, Goodman, and Runnels win batting championships here. They're all left-handed. Used to see Wirtz, Doby, Kubek, Mantle when he switch hit.
Thanks, pal.
You did. You hit well here. Now, what about you? Were a left-handed hitter. Did you like to hit here?
Yes, I think most left-handers will tell you they do. You've got a spacious part of the park. It hurts a home run hitter a lot, but the line drive hitter, it helps. Plus, they give you pitches inside you can handle. Right-handed hitters, it'll help some, but it has hurt as many as it has helped because they try to pull the ball too much.
High ball. 1-1. Let's get a shot behind home plate. The background is what the hitters like. The white ball comes out of the green wall. Great background. There's a base hit by Burleson in the right field. That's his second hit in a row. All the hitters love the background here because that wall is so high in front of the center field bleachers that the crowd doesn't bother. Now there's that green wall, and that ball really looks big when it comes in. You may not hit it, but it looks pretty good to you.
A lot of fly balls go out for home runs, but then a lot of line drives that normally would be homers go off the walls for singles or doubles here.
Red Sox have 4 hits. The Reds have 1 hit. 2 down. Burleson at first. Cooper up. Struck out his first time. Fouls it back. 0-1 to Cecil Cooper. Yeah, he got going the last half of the year. They're playing him to the opposite field. They have a book on each team. There goes the runner. Bench's throw right on the button. Don't run on him. Burleson's an easy out. Johnny Bench to Concepcion. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left at the end of 4. It's 0-0. Preceding announcement was furnished to the public service by Major League Baseball.
Watch out calmly. Johnny Bench gets rid of the ball at second base, knowing he has Burleson all the way. Gullett does not have a good move to first base, but he's very quick going home, and he's tough to steal on. And the Red Sox keep running. They're trying to pressure the defense, which is so good of the Cincinnati Reds.
Johnny Bench is a one-handed catcher. Rod Hundley started it in modern times. That is, he catches the ball one-handed with a mitt, so he won't damage his throwing hand. And he gets that ball out of that mitt very quickly. Foster lined to first base his first time. This is the 5th inning. No runs, 4 hits for the Red Sox. No runs, 1 hit for the Reds. There's a drive to left. Yastrzemski will have to cut it off. He does, and he holds him to a single. That's his kind of play out there. It's very important in this park to not let that ball get into the corner and get a double. Now you got a double play set up.
Kurt and Dick, aside from playing that wall so well, Yastrzemski can play a very shallow left field, and he'll catch a lot of line drives. He'll throw them in out second base or trying to score from second. He may have slowed down a step as far as speed, but his quickness is still there.
Foster's hit the ball hard twice now. Line drive out and a single. Concepcion has flied to left his first time. They're playing him to pull a step or 2 to left. Petrocelli in tight at third. Page up. Well, that's an overhand slow ball. There's Rico in. Concepcion's a good bunter. He does everything well. Concepcion hit .340 in the month of September, and he's hit safely in his last 12 games of the season. Foster at first. He stole only 2 bases this year. He didn't run much. Sidearm curve. That's his slow curve. No balls, 2 strikes.
Kurt, I wish we could have gotten in the Cincinnati dugout to listen to how Joe Morgan, I'm sure, passed the information along on the Tiant moves to some of the other base runners and base stealers for Cincinnati.
Would have been interesting. He works continually with Griffey and Concepcion, the other young players, with speed. Sort of a base stealing coach as a player. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Red Sox had Gullett in trouble the first 2 innings. He's settled down since. The first 10 men went out for the Reds, and Morgan singled. Was Bach the second. He's been their lone base runner until this inning, when Foster led off the inning with a single. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Concepcion. Ken Griffey's on deck. He'll be a left-handed batter. You notice those on deck men, how intently they're studying Tiant. Trying to figure out all those jerks, head movements, body movements. Nobody has yet. I don't think Tiant even knows what he's going to do when he starts getting up at the top of his motion.
I think he decides what he's going to pitch when he comes down, right before he throws the ball. And I think that makes it easier for him, because otherwise I think he wouldn't be able to do all those things if he knows he's going to come in with a certain kind of a pitch.
2-2 to Concepcion. Foster at first, nobody out. 5th inning. Wiggle waggle, now stop. That is a second strikeout for Tiant.
He will throw you so many pitches. You can bat against Louis Tiant as we watch him again 3 times in a game and never see the same pitch and same delivery twice. This appeared to be a harder, well, it's something sinking. Came a little bit more from the side.
He's a 35-year-old marvel, he says. He doesn't say he's a marvel, he says he's 35. I'd like to bet on that, Dick.
Nobody knows where his birth certificate is, Kurt.
Well, they couldn't find Satchel Pages. They haven't found this man yet. Griffey trying to punch that outside pitch to left field. Strike 1 to Ken Griffey, who grounded out his first time.
This is a tough part of the Cincinnati lineup. I don't know who else can send up. Well, there might be a couple of other teams send Griffey and Geronimo up, but Concepcion, the latter part of their lineup, the speed and power they have.
You just said something very important. Number 7 and 8 hitters, it's important to keep them off the bases, and they're good ones, because then you have the top of the order coming up, Rhodes and Morgan after the pitcher. That's right, down to number 8. What a lineup. Not many teams have it. 0-2, that was just a fastball that time.
Well, once a game I come up with a gem, maybe.
That's the first, your first gem of the season. I was talking about Louis Tiant's father. When he pitched to the Negro American League, he said he had a tough time here in America. He didn't want his son to go through the prejudice that he had gone through. He tried to discourage him. There's a high fly ball. Let's see. That ball is going to be foul. Satch Davison of the National League going down the line, a sail foul. So I said to Tiant, he has a little boy. I said, do you want your boy to be a Major League Baseball pitcher? He says, no. I said, he wants to be a hockey player.
Well, they have a lot of rinks around here, summer and winter alike.
The youngsters, they love their hockey up here. No balls, 2 strikes. To Ken Griffey, 1 out. That's Foster at first. We have no score in this game in the top of the 5th inning. Ken Griffey batting number 7. Geronimo, left-handers on deck. Check swing. Hit to Petrocelli. Fast man. He has him. 2 down. Foster moves to second.
You're not forced too many mistakes against the Red Sox either. They've been steady. And watch Petrocelli. He knows even though Griffey has great speed out of the box, he has time because he did not get a good jump on the check swing. And very calmly threw him out easily.
Rico's going to retire every year. I think they're talking about whether they want to put Geronimo on and go against Gullett?
I would think they would. Of course, they're talking over right now. Listen, if you think you can get him out or get him to go after a bad pitch, hit the ball weakly, you've got your pitcher leading off next inning. But that first base open, a left-hander up, the percentages anyway right now would be to put him on.
The A's did not do that against the Red Sox a couple of times. Alvin Dark took a shot, and he probably had good reasons for it.
Neither did Darrell Johnson. He pitched to Reggie Jackson with first base open. Reggie Jackson hit a home run. Pitched to Claudell Washington the next game with first base open. He drove home a run.
And they're going to walk Geronimo and pitch to a better-than-average hitting pitcher, Don Gullett.
Not surprising. Darrell Johnson has really played the percentages all season long.
That's Louis' boy, isn't it?
Yep.
Louis Tiant's son.
Is he a Luis also, Dick?
Yes.
His father was one of the great pitchers in the history of Cuba.
Great emotional moment when the Tiant family arrived at Logan Airport in Boston. Louis just broke down, as you might imagine. All the photographers and newsreel cameramen were out there to record it, and he's an emotional guy, Louis Tiant.
Well, he's a grand fella. Everybody likes him. Very witty, fun fellow to be around.
And Dick, his father has seen him pitch some ball games, some of the greatest of his career, under the most intense pressure he's ever been under, fighting for the championship.
All right, Don Gullett has a chance to help himself. He flied to left his first time. We have Foster at second, Geronimo at first, 2 down. No score, 5th inning. That wind is still blowing in from first to third. It's had an effect on the pitching and hitting of this game. Strike to Gullett. Stiff wind. Hasn't let down a bit. Tomorrow, surprise, Lee will pitch for the Red Sox. He's had a bad elbow the last month. And Billingham will go for the Reds. Game 2, same time. Pops it up. Fisk gives way to Petrocelli. The side is out. No runs, a hit, 2 left. We're halfway through and a score, 0-0. Well, to use the old baseball cliche, good pitching will stop good hitting. That's what's happened so far with Gullett and Tiant mastering the hitters. Now it's my pleasure to turn the play-by-play mic over to Dick Stockton. This was his first year telecasting with the Red Sox. He had a memorable season, and he made it very pleasurable for the fans in New England. Dick, welcome to NBC.
Thank you, Kurt.
Good luck.
Thank you, Tony. Cecil Cooper will lead off. He was at the bat when Rick Burleson was thrown out stealing in the 4th inning. Cooper struck out his first time up on a high fastball from Don Gullett. Scoreless game. They expected a lot of runs to be scored here, a lot of home runs. But through the first 4.5 innings, nothing to score. Fouls off a slow curve. Cooper, a good fastball hitter, as Tony mentioned. Likes to hit line drives to all parts of the ballpark.
He will probably pull the ball a little bit more against a right-handed pitcher. Left-handers, Geronimo shading him slightly toward left center.
They give him the gap in left center field. The count is a ball and 2 strikes to Cooper. There you see the outfield alignment.
I haven't seen many teams in the American League play Cooper that far down the left field line. They play him like a right-handed pull hitter.
Swings and misses, and that's the way to pitch to Cooper, outside. He got him with the fastball, so Cooper goes down for the 2nd time on strikeout. Gullett's 3rd strikeout of the game. A hand for Louis Tiant, who has pitched out of a couple of jams the last 2 innings, and there is the Tiant family.
What is he swinging around up there, Dick?
Oh, that's a loud horn that Maria Tiant, Louis' wife, had when the Red Sox wrapped up the American League pennant in Oakland. And she was heard all over that airport in Oakland. Ball 1 to him. As Kurt mentioned, Tiant came to the plate 1 time this year. 1 ball and a strike.
One thing, he's getting his swings in.
2-1. All of the Red Sox pitchers look forward to taking batting practice for this World Series. You know how pitchers are when it comes to hitting. And they couldn't wait when they put up that batting cage for Rick Wise and Dick Drago, Cleveland, and also Louis to take their swings. Swings and misses, foul tipped into the mid of Johnny Bench, and it's 2-2. Rick Waite's the only left-hander to beat the Red Sox at Fenway Park this year in a starting role. And a cheer for Tiant. He got a piece of it, fouls it back.
The kind of left-handers that usually have success, as far as I recall, against the Red Sox, are the guys who throw the little curveball, the change of speeds, a little screwball, a Freddie Norman type.
Spot pitchers. Another foul back by Tiant. In fact, breaking ball pitchers who threw to spots caused problems for the Red Sox all year. They had no problem with the likes of a Vida Blue or a Nolan Ryan or a Bert Blyleven. Ed Figueroa, for example, beat him 3 times.
I think that's true of both ball clubs in this World Series. If you can get a guy who gets his breaking stuff and changes speed stuff over, it can be beaten. And with Gullett's proven otherwise right now, he's throwing the ball hard.
The 2-2 pitch gets away from Bench in a full count. So Gullett has to work a little bit harder with Tiant than he probably expected, and the count is full. Last of the 5th inning, no score. The Reds have 2 hits. The Red Sox have 4. Well played game defensively, and that's something we also anticipated. And Tiant walks. Well, Gullett walks Louis Tiant with 1 out in the 5th inning, to the delight of the fans here at Fenway.
There's nothing Tiant can do that is wrong to the Boston fans.
That's the first time in how many years that Tiant has been on base.
I wonder if Johnny Pesky, the first base coach, said that way is second base.
There's interesting.
You know what they're talking about?
Right.
The ball called on Louis. Nick Colosi talking to him. Look at that. Louis talking about his shoulder. Did he step? Did he jump?
Well, Colosi wanted to make an explanation there, and Louis had a chance to get his side in. Here's Dwight Evans. Single to start the first inning for the Red Sox, and then fouled out to the right fielder, Ken Griffey.
Pesky just went over to Tiant and said, Louis, this is first base, remember?
That is second.
Yeah.
Fastball is high. You got to give Evans off-speed pitches, and if you make a mistake, he'll take you deep. Another fastball high, and it's 2-0.
Gullett keeps looking down in front of the mound. You wonder if he's having trouble with the mound. Now Larry Shepard, the pitching coach, is coming out. Sometimes the pitchers, in this case Gullett and Tiant, have different lengths of strides. When that front foot hits, they dig a different hole, and Gullett may be landing on the downslope or upslope. We don't know which. Maybe causing him some control problems as the hole gets deeper.
Also, let's remember, Tony, that we had a light rain at the start of the game. Might be a little slippery for him as he puts leverage coming down.
He is a youngster, but he has been in postseason play before, and he's done well.
There's a look at Don Gullett's feet, and of course some mounds are different than others. I know the Red Sox pitchers had problems in Milwaukee this year. The mound was a little lower. We have activity in the Cincinnati bullpen. Evans takes ball 3. So Sparky Anderson has someone up in the Reds bullpen. It's Pat Darcy, a rookie right-hander who had a very successful first year for the Reds.
They don't waste any time going to that bullpen either. They've got a great bullpen.
There's a strike. Evans was taking all the way.
Unusual man to have up. You usually think of the Eastwicks, the McEnanys, the Bourbones, or Clay Carroll, and he's got a man who hasn't been a key man in his bullpen. Now more action.
A left-hander gets up, and it's popped up to short right field. Joe Morgan waving everybody off. He makes the catch for out number 2.
Red Sox didn't make any mistakes against the A's. The Reds made very few mistakes all year. They led the National League in fielding. They set a record of consecutive games without an error. They went 15 games in a row in the regular season without an error.
Denny Doyle, and you can see he was a red-hot hitter in the last few games of the season when the pressure was really on the Red Sox shoulders. Doyle sacrificed his first time up and then bounced to Joe Morgan at second. Wields a good bat, can go to left. Sometimes serves base hits to left and right center field. And there's a blooper in the right field for a base hit. Holding at second is Tiant. And the Red Sox had their 5th hit off Don Gullett. That's what we mean by Denny Doyle's ability to serve a ball out to short, left, or right center. And the hand for Carl Yastrzemski. Pat Darcy is the right-hander, and the left-hander working with him in the bullpen is Freddie Norman. He was upset that he was bypassed in game number 2, but Sparky Anderson says Norman will be my middle inning left-handed reliever to face the likes of Yastrzemski and Lynn. Tiant is on at second. Doyle at first, 2 down, no score. Bouncing ball handled by Perez, and that will end it in the 5th inning. So the Red Sox get a hit and leave 2. We've completed 5 with the score. The Reds nothing and the Red Sox nothing.
Where's my glasses? Huh?
4-3.
Back at Fenway Park, this is Dick Stockton with Kurt Gowdy and Tony Kubek. We've completed 5 innings of a scoreless game in the first contest of the 1975 World Series. And the top of the order will lead it off for the Reds in the 6th inning, Pete Rose. Twice this afternoon has bounced to Denny Doyle. Well, we have not had a run scored in this game. We have not had anything resembling close to a home run, except perhaps Carlton Fisk drive to left center field that was hauled down by Foster. And we had the eruption of that controversy concerning the bar. And Rose times it, and Dwight Evans comes in to make the catch. Dwight Evans can do it all in right field. Can cover the line, can come in and go to right center as well.
Ball's sinking fast. He has a lot of ground to cover. Fortunately today, a cloudy day, the right fielders do not have to battle the sun. That kid right now plays his position as well as anybody in baseball, Dwight Evans.
And a superb throwing arm as well. 1 out in the 6th inning. Here's Joe Morgan. He got the first Reds hit, a single with 1 out in the 4th inning. And then advanced to second when Nick Colosi called a balk on Louis Tiant. Misses outside.
So far, Rose and Morgan have been up 5 times. Morgan has reached base once. That's been it.
On the corner, Tiant, whose control might have been a bit shaky in the first couple of innings, has really come on in that department in the last 3 innings. He has walked 1. That was an intentional walk. Has struck out 2. Slow curve. You saw the umpire, Art France, give it a second look, and it's 2-1.
He'll throw that one to left-handed hitters where he starts at a foot outside and it comes over the outside corner of the plate. You give up on it.
Misses with the fastball, and Morgan was ready to argue with France. 3-1 the count.
I think with Joe Morgan here that on the mound is the key of the series for the Red Sox. Tiant. He gets them off to a good start. They're the underdogs. They've got a great shot. If he loses, they could be bad trouble.
That's a fair ball down the right field line, and Evans will have no play at second. And going in is Joe Morgan, and he almost did have a play indeed.
When Morgan began to break his speed between first and second, Evans rifling a strike. That's a tricky spot that you mentioned earlier in the telecast, Dick. You almost got to protect the deep part and not rush up too soon to play the ball off the wall, or you can get beat by an inside-the-park home run or triple.
And that's the first extra base hit in this ball game. A 1-out double by Joe Morgan, who's 2 for 3.
We'll watch Morgan again. He tried to steal third in the 4th inning on Tiant. Had a big lead. Bench fouled out. Let's watch him now. He might try to get over there to third with 1 out and have Bench get him in with a fly ball.
Both sides looking for that one break to get that 1 run across. Bench is 0 for 2. Third baseman Petrocelli holds Morgan at second. Bench is out. Well, Johnny Bench last time up fouled off about a dozen before fouling out. Here he goes after the first pitch and grounds to Rico.
Dick and Kurt, we saw what Pelosi called a balk, not stepping to first earlier. Another way they say that Tiant balks, we should watch him with Morgan on second, is the way he jiggles his glove on down. They say he stops twice.
2 down, Morgan is at second, and the batter is Tony Perez. Red Sox scouts say Perez and Morgan may be the toughest outs in the Cincinnati lineup. He took a called third strike his last time up. We're watching. There he stops. Gets him on that sidearm changeup for a strike.
Sometimes he will go to the stop position we just saw, just above the belt, and then go down another 3, 4, 5 inches. 2 1-second or momentary stops.
Evans plays Perez in right center. 2 out, Morgan at second. And Perez fouls it out of play. Not as much of a fastball hitter as some of the other Cincinnati players. And he has the ability to wait at the plate for his pitch.
You get the fastball up and away with not much on it. He can get a long way to right center field or dead center.
Here's where Tiant likes to have you now. 2 strikes and then play around with you.
And if you're an ambitious swinger, he'll give you that slow stuff outside and make you look foolish. Not too many people make Tony Perez look foolish, however. No balls, 2 strikes. And this is fouled out of play to the right side. Count remains 0-2.
Came in there with a pretty good pitch. That was dangerous.
He's throwing hard. He's one of these guys who can confound scouting reports. Against the A's, the first ball game a week ago, he started the ball game off with good hard fastballs. Middle innings, he went to off-speed stuff, then came back with a fastball. This ball game against the Reds, he started off with slow stuff. Middle innings, he's going to fastballs, just the opposite.
I think, as we mentioned earlier, if Louis doesn't have it, you know it early, and if he does have it, he gets stronger and really smells it as the game goes on. 2 strikes to count to Tony Perez. Morgan is at second with 2 out. And he pulls him on that slow outside curve, and Perez goes down for the second time. 3rd strikeout for Louis Tiant. We go to the bottom of the 6th, no score.
Huge day in sports for it on NBC tomorrow, 12:30. You'll see the baseball world of Joe Garagiola preceding the Game 2 of the World Series in Fenway. Followed at 4 o'clock by the Oakland Raiders, the Kansas City Chiefs. I've seen those 2 clubs over the years. That's one of the bitterest rivalry in football. I don't care what the seasonal records are. It doesn't mean a thing. Oakland's won 15 times. Kansas City 13 times. There have been 2 ties. The Raiders are favored tomorrow, but look out. NBC Sports. Number 1, live action the year round. And a snow score, last of the 6th inning. And here we are back to Dick Stockton.
All right, Kurt. Carlton Fisk, the cleanup hitter for the Red Sox, popped to second and fly to left. The wind prevented his last shot to left from going into the net. It was caught by Foster. And that's the only chance that George Foster has had in left field. No score. Bottom of the 6th inning. Don Gullett, 1 hopper to Concepcion. Fisk is retired, 1 out.
Gullett's made big pitches today. He starts getting himself in trouble, and he comes right back. He's had the tough hitters, got him out. Marvelous young left-hander. Only 1 starting left-hander, 1 here in this park this year against the Red Sox. He had the chance today.
And Rick Waits was not a fastball pitcher, more of a slider pitcher against the left-handed batters. Ball 1 the count to Lynn. He's 1 for 2. Had an infield hit in the 1st inning on the play in which Evans was thrown out, Concepcion to bench. Takes a fastball 2-0.
Gullett does not have an ordinary fastball as you're seeing today. He has a sensational fastball, and he's usually right with it. It darts all over the strike zone, and he can spot it when he gets ahead.
You see the background. Lynn bounces a single up the middle. His 2nd hit of the day and the 6th hit off Don Gullett.
That's what we meant about the background. You see that white ball coming off that center field wall. The batter gets a good look at the ball.
Only 1 inning the Red Sox did not have a base runner. That was the 3rd. Here's Rico Petrocelli. Walked and fly to center.
Dick, how about those scouts that said Lynn Vail out against left-handers?
They were wrong.
That's another one of the advantages of being a left-hander in Fenway. You don't see too many left-handed pitchers. You're seeing right-handers.
And there's a hit to right field. Lynn will go to 3rd, and here is Griffey in the corner. He makes the play. Going to 2nd with a double is Petrocelli. The Red Sox have runners at 2nd and 3rd and 1 out. Rico Wynn with the pitch to the right field corner.
And he got some big hits for you late in the season, Dick, and he went that way quite a bit more. He used to be strictly an uppercut or pull hitter going for that left field wall. He's changed.
Had a Fenway swing, but he's altered it somewhat. And here is Petrocelli, and what a job he has done in September after coming back from inner ear problems.
That is what you might consider a perfect pitch. Low and on the outside corner. Rico could hit it no other way. See if they walk him to get to the left-hander or the pitcher. That would be the percentages.
Now they have to bring the infield in.
And they're going to put Burleson on and pitch to Cooper, who has struck out twice today. Cooper is a battler. Before the game in the batting cage, people were talking about who the likely hero could be as you look at the Cincinnati bullpen. Clay Carroll, a right-hander. And Cooper says, pointed to first base, he says, number 17, watch him. So even though he hasn't been in postseason play and has not had that much action, he is a confident, assured fellow today.
Dick, I think an interesting comment was made by your broadcast partner during the year, the Hawk, Ken Harrelson, when he said he hasn't seen anybody who could throw fastballs consistently by the Red Sox. He said the first time or two times around, all right, but they eventually catch up to you. And you better start going off-speed stuff.
The bases are loaded. Lynn is at third, Petrocelli at second, and Burleson at first, one out. The Red Sox had Petrocelli at third in the second inning, and Gullett pitched out of that. So here's Cooper with one out and the bases loaded. Rose is on the grass at third, and Perez on the edge of the grass at first. Swings and misses on a high fastball. That's the pitch Gullett got Cooper back in the second inning. Crowd is turned on here at Fenway Park. They drew over 1,700,000, as Kurt mentioned at the outset, in a small ballpark. Takes low. Fred Lynn at third.
They had a ratio of sellouts that was incredible, wasn't it, the last part of the year?
They had crowds of 32,000 or more for about 7 or 8 games, I think. They got pennant fever early here. And there's a fly ball to center field. Getting a late start is Geronimo. He makes the catch. And here comes Lynn. Here comes the throw, and Lynn is out at home.
Well, he challenged one of the great throwing arms in baseball, Cesar Geronimo.
Here's Geronimo from our center field camera. He has a great throwing arm, but figuring with Tiant coming next, the pitcher Zimmer sends him. They played this aggressively all year long. Ball hit the side of the mound, unfortunately bounced back to Bench.
Johnny Bench makes a good play because this is like a shortstop playing a two-hopper.
He might have the best throwing arm in baseball. He did not get much on that ball, though, oddly enough. A two-hopper.
Right.
So 2 Red Sox players have been thrown out at the plate, and we go to the 7th of a scoreless game.
Remember, the World Series games from Cincinnati will be night games, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, starting at 8 o'clock with a baseball world of Joe Garagiola. When the series moves to Cincinnati for Game 3 Tuesday night, the old man and the kid, 2 master pitchers going against each other, spinning shutout innings, the 7th inning, and Dick Stockton.
George Foster has hit the ball hard twice, takes a breaking ball for a strike, lined out to Cecil Cooper, who had a leap to make the catch, and then he lashed a single to left field. 1 for 2 is Foster, leading off in the 7th inning. The Reds have 3 hits off Louis Tiant. Another curveball is outside.
I think he's hit the ball harder than anybody today, Foster.
Once to the right side and the other time to left field, and Yastrzemski came over to cut the ball off. We'll watch where Carlton Fisk sets up. Sets up toward the middle of the plate. 1 and 2.
Fisk indicates a lot of times with his, after he gives the sign, with his chest protector, his hand to where, what area in the strikes when he wants the pitch. Let's see if he goes to that protector. Looks like he wants it inside. He's setting up outside.
Not surprising the way they're pitching Foster, a dead pull hitter, hasn't really yet learned to handle some of that outside breaking stuff, as the Red Sox scouts have reported. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And look where Petrocelli is, Dick. He's right on top of the third base line.
And a chopper to shortstop and under the glove of Rick Burleson into left field. So Foster is on base for the 2nd time this afternoon, a base hit.
Good point just made by Kurt Dick Stockton. 7th inning, protecting the line. If he'd been a little off, as he ordinarily would have been playing early in the ballgame, he might have had a chance, as there was a little bit of a chopper.
13.
Burleson has some good range, but I don't know if they would have gotten him anyway, even if he would have made the play. 4 hits now off Tiant. A conference at the mound as Concepcion comes up. He struck out on a sidearm slow curve last time up. He's 0 for 2.
Got to believe the way these two pitchers are pitching that we're going to see Concepcion up there trying to bunt. Rico's looking for it. Cooper will have the charge, and of course the place to go might be toward Cooper at first. He has to hold that runner close on first base. Let's see what Sparky does.
And Concepcion hitting away, fouls off the first pitch.
If you get that ball high out over the plate, Concepcion can drill it in the deep right center. He can also pull the ball. He can be dangerous.
Some consider him the best fastball hitter on the Cincinnati club. You just can't get it by him.
Louis Tiant.
Al Simmons was the best before him playing left field. This one ranks right along with Simmons.
1 out, and Ken Griffey twice has bounced out, once to Doyle, the other time to Petrocelli. Lays off an outside pitch.
You know, Dick, a lot has been made of the hitting of both ball clubs, but the defense of both of these clubs, many players on both teams will admit, got them here or helped a great deal.
First 6 innings of this game, we have seen fine defensive play. Not too many spectacular plays, but of course you have to make the routine ones, and both clubs have done just that. Fastball. Tiant snuck one by Griffey, and the count 1-1. It's brightened up a bit here at Fenway Park. We had some light showers when we started today. Looked overcast, but it's now brightened up. The lights have been turned on since the start of the game.
And Petrocelli's in tight again against Griffey and crowding the third base line. He doesn't want anything to go down that line.
Burleson and Doyle communicating as the Red Sox looking for the possible double play. And there goes the runner, the pitch out, the throw to second, and they've got him. George Foster, who only had 2 stolen bases this year, is thrown out. Carlton Fisk in the first attempt by the Reds.
He looked like he might have had a pretty good jump. When Tiant gets all wound up, he can take a little time getting the ball to home plate. What a great throw, and Kurt, you said it earlier, one of the finest catchers in baseball, and Fisk just proved a little of that.
Yeah, this is Tiant against Gullett and Bench against Fisk today. Look at this throw, something on it. Had a broken arm to start the season.
Well, you got to feel good after you throw the first guy out. Fouls it off, out of play, and it's 2-2 to Griffey. Carlton Fisk, who will meet the challenge. I think enough people talk to him about the base-stealing threats of the Cincinnati Reds and before that the Oakland A's that I think Fisk inside and privately says, I'm going to rise to the occasion. 2-2 to Ken Griffey. 2 out. Nobody on. We're in the top of the 7th inning. No score. And a line drive. Base hit in the corner. Let's see how Evans plays this right field wall. Griffey will go into second with a double. And you see the advantage of that attempt and that throw by Carlton Fisk, because otherwise the Reds with 1 out would have had a big threat going.
And how much bigger Yastrzemski's catch in left field looks right now.
Right.
The Red Sox have had more chances. They've left 8 on. Up until this inning, the Reds have left 4 on, but now the Reds are starting to challenge. They have given Tiant more problems in this inning than any inning.
They've had a hit in the 4th, 5th, a double in the 6th, and 2 hits here. And they're going to put Geronimo on as they did in the 5th inning and pitch to Don Gullett.
And the Red bullpen is quiet. They're going to leave Gullett in.
These are the kind of decisions that the fans here at Fenway Park have not seen this year because of the DH.
That's what the National League argues, that this is the strategy of baseball that's taken away with a designated hitter. The American League argues that it keeps hitters like Billy Williams in the game. There's Gullett. He'll come up to bat now. Maybe during the season they might have done something different, but he wants him in here. He's had a shutout going at Fenway, and he's his best pitcher, so Sparky goes with him.
Sparky Anderson looking for his first world championship.
35. Don Gullett.
Runners at first and second, 2 down, and the pitcher Don Gullett. Last time up, after Geronimo was passed intentionally, he fouled out to Petroselli. 0 for 2 is Gullett. But a fine all-round athlete. At 9 runs batted in this season. Fastball on the outside corner. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network. Dick Stockton with Kurt Gowdy and Tony Kubek. No score. 2 out. Top of the 7th inning. 2 men on for the Reds. Went after the high pitch. Fouled into the mid of Fisk, and Tiant is ahead of his opposite number of 2 strikes.
Tiant has to be very careful now, and his manager knows it, not to come in there with a fat pitch against Gullett. Gullett can hit for a pitcher. Well, he eases up on him, he can get in trouble.
2 strikes. And there is a ball that's caught by Doyle. Tough play for Doyle. He had to go to his left, and he saved a run with that catch. And Gullett is out.
A great tumbling catch earlier in the inning by Yastrzemski may have saved a run or a big inning, and now Denny Doyle, the fiery second baseman who sparked this club earlier in the year, makes a fine play on the slicing ball hit to his right.
Down there in the commissioner's box, we have Mr. and Mrs. Simon with us today, Secretary of Treasury, Mr. and Mrs. Kuhn, Mr. and Mrs. Tip O'Neill, Senator Brooke, Mrs. Brooke, Herb Schlosser, the president of NBC, Bob McCurry of the Chrysler Corporation, Bill Salatich, President Gillette. And without them, we wouldn't all be sitting here, I'll tell you.
Say, you covered every angle you possibly could right there.
Let's get those sponsors in. I want those sponsors in there.
1 ball and 1 strike to count to Louis Tiant, who walked his last time up, struck out back in the 2nd inning. Big cut, fouls it back on the screen.
It's interesting, though. McCurry was an All-American player and captain at Michigan State in football, and Bill Salatich used to be a minor league pitcher. Now they rise in the corporate ranks.
And a base hit for Tiant.
Standing ovation for Louis.
Gullett got him a slow curve, and Louis gets a base hit.
They love him here, don't they?
And here goes the chant.
They want him to steal, too, and he might. Nah, he won't, I don't think.
Here it is, a slow curve that Tiant pulled to the left side and through the hole for a base hit. That is the 8th hit off Don Gullett. And the leadoff man is on here in the last of the 7th inning of a scoreless game, and the top of the order, Dwight Evans. Not everyone watching this game around Boston paid their way in, as you could see, and that's got to be a very precarious perch for the fans in center field.
Dick, that was Louis Tiant's first hit since 1972.
And I'm sure he remembers it. There's the bunt by Evans, the sacrifice, and the throw to second is in the dirt in the center field. Tiant will hold it second.
Whoa!
Gullett took a gamble, tried to get the lead man, and it backfired.
Oh, he stuffed him.
And the Red Sox have runners at first and second, nobody out.
Gullett is an excellent fielder. He got off the mound very well, and then he looked like he took too much time. Right here, he says, I've got him dead. He threw a sinker ball to Concepcion covering. Very alertly, Geronimo backs the play up, keeping Tiant at second base, and then almost throwing behind him and picking him off. So the first mistake we've seen in this ball game.
We're going to wonder what this may take out of Tiant, hitting the dirt, running the bases, getting up, scrambling back. We'll see what it does to him when he comes out for the 8th inning. Right now, the Sox have runners on first and second, nobody out. And this is a scoreless game, and they're batting in their home half to 7th.
And if Dwight Evans was bunting to move the man over to second, you know that Denny Doyle will definitely be bunting here. With runners at first and second, Perez at first and Rose at third are playing in, looking for the sacrifice attempt.
They tell me he rarely failed to get a runner over in this kind of situation all year long.
He pops this bunt foul and out of play.
That's rare to see him pop up and attempt a bunt.
He was practically flawless in sacrifice situations this year. Has helped the Red Sox so many ways. In fact, when he joined the club in Kansas City, in the very first game he played, Hal McRae barreled into him on a double play, And Doyle got rid of the ball nonetheless and turned it over, and the Red Sox knew they had a good second baseman. Doug Griffin, who had been playing second, of course, played better after Doyle arrived. He's had a fine year.
Tony, he bunted to first base, where he sacrificed in the first. I think he wants to draw Rose off the bag at third on this bunt. Let's see what he does.
Activity in the Cincinnati bullpen. A left-hander and a right-hander. Doyle swinging away, misses, and it's 2 strikes.
I'm surprised right there that Daryl Johnson went against the percentages, even with 1 strike. Doyle is a good bat handler. There is Carroll, the right-hander, McEnany, the left-hander, going for the Reds. The left-handed pitcher on there makes it tougher for Doyle.
Daryl Johnson, quiet, does not make many headlines, and he slaps it in the left field for a base hit. Tiant will hold it third, and the bases are loaded, nobody out. Just slapped it to the left side, and no way Don Zimmer was going to send Tiant. But the Red Sox have the best opportunity that either side has had right now.
And they have their captain coming up, Carl Yastrzemski.
Gullett can be so good. He has become more of a pitcher than a thrower in recent years, but in the second inning with first and third, he went to his strikeout pitches. He reached back for a little extra so he can get the strikeouts when he needs them.
Yastrzemski was the leading Boston hitter in the 1967 series, had 3 homers and hit .400. And here he is up with the bases loaded, nobody out, last of the 7th inning. Big cut by Carl, and he misses.
It's interesting to see they're playing a shortstop and second baseman about halfway. What they do with a ground ball, they probably try and turn it over for the double play and let the run come on in.
At the corners, he'll come home.
1 strike pitch in the dirt, and Johnny Bench stops it. 1-1. They know they don't have an experienced base runner in Tiant at third. Here's Bench.
2-men exceptional at receiving behind the plate. Bench looked like a fork ball or a curve ball, keeping the ball in front of him. They're playing back with a double play at short and second base because they don't want a big inning right here. They come in, a ball gets by, and the Red Sox may have something big going.
Playing more straight away to the outfield. And it's a line drive, right field, coming on Griffey. It's a hit. Tiant coming in. Here comes the throw, cut off by Perez.
Oh, Johnny wanted it to go through.
He missed the plate. I didn't see him touch the plate. He missed the plate and went back and touched it.
Concepcion was yelling
the plate.
Concepcion yelling to Perez, throw the ball, but Tiant went back and touched home.
We get a rerun. You'll see him miss the plate when he crosses it.
And the Red Sox have broken the scoreless tie.
Let's look at it again. Here's Louis. Zimmer has him back tagging up on a short fly ball. Now, Louis does not run well, obviously. He hasn't seen third base or home plate very often. Bench is yelling to Perez, let the ball come. We got a chance. Now, Louis, hey, wait a second. Concepcion, anyway, doesn't think I tagged it.
Do I have to touch home?
I couldn't tell. Did he nick the corner of it first time?
So Yastrzemski drives in the first run of the game, and Sparky Anderson has gone to the mound, and we will see a new pitcher, Clay Carroll, coming in for Don Gullett.
And Yastrzemski continues to do it at the age of 36, suddenly catching fire when they're dangling that money out there in the playoffs. He's made a spectacular play today. He's just come up with a first RBI. And now you have to wonder what's going to be with Tiant in the 8th. He's scrambled and run and shoved and all over these baselines. Will it wear him out? We have a break in the action here with a score now. The Red Sox 1 and the Reds nothing.
Please, ladies and gentlemen. Number 27.
And there is Joe Garagiola and Marty Brennaman, the Cincinnati Reds broadcaster, doing the radio broadcast of this first World Series game, and you'll be seeing Marty on television and Joe as well throughout this World Series. Ned Martin, who is the radio voice of the Boston Red Sox, will be here tomorrow afternoon. Clay Carroll in his 10th World Series game, pitching to Carlton Fisk. Outside, ball 1. Bases are loaded, nobody out. Perez is on the edge of the grass at first. Carroll's World Series record is 1-1, an ERA of 0.61. That's in the World Series. On the corner.
Good sinker ball, good hard slider. He's a power pitcher, and Dick and Kurt, both teams all year long, were noted for taking advantage of mistakes by the opposition. The Red Sox do it now on the wild throw by Gullett.
And Fisk goes after a pitch on the outside edge of the plate, misses 1 and 2.
I was surprised that Doyle and Yastrzemski hit Gullett, both left-handers. They stood right in there to him.
Well, Darrell Johnson went with 4 left-handed batters against Vida Blue and Ken Holtzman. Fisk looks at an outside pitch, and the count is even 2 and 2. The runner at third is Dwight Evans. At second, Denny Doyle, and Carl Yastrzemski with an RBI single is on at first. 1-0 the Red Sox lead. They have out-hit the Reds 10-5. 3 balls and 2 strikes. They have no place to put Carlton Fisk. Darrell Johnson quietly looking on. Pedro Borbon has replaced Clay Carroll in the bullpen. Will McEnany, the left-hander, still working with him. The payoff pitch, way outside, and Clay Carroll forces in a run. It's 2-0 Boston as Evans comes across.
And still nobody out. The left-hander Lynn scheduled up. Sparky may pop out very quickly. He's got McEnany, who should be loose. Here comes Anderson.
Here he comes.
Odd thing, 5 of the Red Sox 10 hits against Gullett were by left-handed batters.
Cecil Cooper, Denny Doyle, and of course Fred Lynn can hit left-handers, and now we're going to see Will McEnany, who along with Rawley Eastwick, 2 young relievers who have done the job for the Cincinnati Reds this year. They also have Pedro Borbon and Clay Carroll, who departs here after facing 1 batter, Carlton Fisk, and walking him with the bases loaded. So the Red Sox lead at 2-0. Bases remain loaded. Nobody out. Fred Lynn will be the hitter.
I want to remind our viewers that tonight at 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central, NBC's Saturday Night, a live comedy variety show. It debuts this week with special guest host George Carlin. In the weeks ahead, you'll see Paul Simon with special guest star Art Garfunkel, and also Bob Reiner from All in the Family fame. It's live. It's tonight from New York City, right here on NBC. Louis Tiant right now is the man of this game, along with Carl Yastrzemski. Tiant started this inning with a single. He went to second, slid into second, then had to scramble back. He nearly rounded second. He went to third. He scored. We'll see how he does in the 8th inning. Yastrzemski's made a spectacular catch, and he's driven in the first run. And there's Louis.
Louis is using some smelling salts in there in the dugout. You know, he's not used to running the bases. You pointed out, what's it going to be like when he comes out for the 8th inning?
And a long delay here. It's a long inning, and it's damp and chilly here at Fenway Park.
Sparky Anderson was conferring with Concepcion and Morgan while McEnany's been warming up.
Dick and Kurt, in recent years, we haven't seen many complete games. In fact, not any complete games since when, Alan Roth? But they said that the key to this series could be the bullpen, which is so important in a short series, and they always give the edge to the Cincinnati Reds. But your bullpen did a good job, especially Drake going late, Willoughby in the middle of the year.
Well, McEnany is 23 years old, a native of Springfield, Ohio. He is 6 feet tall, weighs 180 pounds, was the ace of the Reds bullpen most of the year. You see his record, very impressive. And he became a father for the first time yesterday. His wife, Lynn, gave birth to a girl, Faith, in Good Samaritan Hospital in Cincinnati. Fred Lynn with the bases loaded. And a let-up curve in for the strike.
Now, Dick Stockton, the infield alignment has changed. Sparky Anderson has brought Concepcion and Morgan even a little tighter in the field. He cannot afford to give any more runs up.
Lynn holds up.
Sporting News has already named him the Rookie of the Year and the American League Player of the Year. His dad is here. His dad taught him how to play baseball. And Rod Dedeaux at Southern Cal.
Lynn had 47 doubles, establishing a new American League rookie mark. Fastball by McEnany on the outside corner.
Dedeaux's also here today. In fact, Dedeaux broke in Georgie Anderson. Sparky, he was the bat boy out there for 5 years for Rod Dedeaux.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Lynn has been vulnerable to sliders from left-handed pitchers this season. And he swings and misses for strike 3. And that's the first out here in the 7th inning. McEnany coming in and striking out Lynn, but now he'll face the right-handed hitting Rico Petrocelli. Pedro Borbon has been heating up in the Reds bullpen, and we look to the dugout to see if any traces of Sparky Anderson. Petrocelli doubled his last time up. He's 1 for 2, and he walked back in the second inning. There's Borbon. Doyle is at third. Yastrzemski at second. Fisk at first. 2 runs in here in the 7th inning. Almost got away from bench. Petrocelli has been a clutch hitter, mostly breaking ball in the last couple of years, but he's been hitting fastballs in the last month. Hit a big home run against Raleigh Fingers to give the Red Sox an edge. Here's a base hit to left field. Doyle scores. They're going to send Yastrzemski. Here's the throw to the plate. It's cut off. 2 more runs score. It's 4-0 Red Sox.
And not a very strong throw by George Foster. It's very shallow out in left field. The scouting reports that Frank Malzone and Eddie Casco put together warned about the arm of Cesar Geronimo in center. They said, Foster, you might be able to run out a little bit. He could be inaccurate. That was not a strong throw.
Well, it's ironical that the only 2 members of the 67 championship team, Yastrzemski and Petrocelli, have turned into stars again in the playoffs and the World Series. No playoffs back then. But they found their 67 days again.
These are the players who rise to the occasion. The veterans, the youngsters do it all season long, but when it comes to the big games, somehow they know they've been there before and they're calm. Here's Burleson, takes outside for a ball. Petrocelli with 2 hits has been on base 3 times. He's on at first. Carlton Fisk, the runner, at second. 4 runs here for the Red Sox in the 7th inning. They lead it 4-0. Burleson has 2 hits and a walk. He takes ball 2.
This is just the way the Red Sox played against Oakland.
Exactly, Kurt. They played fundamental, sound baseball, good pitching, underrated pitching, fine defensive play, and then when they had the opportunity, took advantage. It's 3-0 to Rick. Don Zimmer flashing the signs, and since McInerney has had problems with his control, I would think that Burleson would be taking on 3-0, but you never know.
I don't know. With Cooper coming up, a left-handed hitter, a left-hander on the mound, I think he might let Burleson take a swat at. He's been a good clutch hitter for you all year.
And a base hit left field. Fisk coming around. Here's the throw to the plate. And scoring is Fisk. Going to second. Safe there is Burleson.
And there is something you rarely see Cincinnati do. Rose was in the cutoff position. No chance for a play at the plate. They let the ball go through, and that enabled Burleson to keep going to second. Like the championship series, they are very aggressive. As we see Concepcion diving for the ball, they are running on George Foster. It is shallow and left. Took a lot of time. That's what the scouting report said. He has a strong throwing arm, accurate, but he takes a lot of time to get rid of the ball. Right here, they mess up a cutoff play. Burleson very alertly going to second.
Tony, you can't miss the cutoff, man. The Oakland A's did it a couple of times. The Red Sox have only missed maybe once or twice all year. And this is why it hurts. And Burleson taking advantage of it. Second and third, the infield is in. Cooper hits a long drive, right field. Going back is Griffey on the warning track. Makes the catch. Both runners will tag. Petrocelli scores. Burleson to third. It's a 6-0 game.
Boy, any other day, that's up in the bleachers. That ball was hit against the wind.
And look at the Red Sox bench.
This is a team that has had its unhappiness during the course of the year. They've been irate at Gerald Johnson at times. Yastrzemski left the club, some said without permission, just before the championship series. They're pulling together now.
He came back to play. Louis Tion fouls it off, and it was Tion who started it all here in the 7th inning with a base hit as Borbon heats up in the Reds bullpen. The Red Sox batting around with 6 runs here in the 7th inning.
Sparky Anderson has to be disappointed in his bullpen today. They have not been effective, Carroll and McInerney.
Here's Jim Rice. What a job he did this year for the Red Sox. Tion pops it up. Perez in front of the Red Sox dugout makes the catch for the 3rd out. But listen to the hand. The Red Sox come up with 6 runs to break a scoreless tie. Boy, you have to have courage to do that.
Corey Lively will go anywhere to get this shot right here for you, looking right down the right field line.
Dick Stockton with Kurt Gowdy and Tony Kubek. the Red Sox with 6 runs in the 7th inning as we go to the 8th here. And Pete Rose 0 for 3 against Louis Tiant, who has some breathing room. Lines it to center field. Lynn makes the catch.
A cliche. The game is never over till the last out. But where does it apply more than right here in Fenway Park, Boston?
Kurt, how
No
many
place.
times you used to do the Red Sox games? Did you see
I've
7,
seen-
8 run leads disappear?
I saw one game there, 11 runs by the Red Sox in the last of the 9th inning. But the wind is in today. Some of those high-scoring games in the late innings, the wind goes out. The wind blowing in, as I keep saying, the wind is such a factor in this park.
Cincinnati's offense this afternoon is rested on the shoulders of Morgan and Foster, each with 2 hits. Morgan a single and a double, takes strike 1. Red Sox do have activity in their bullpen, just in case Tiant begins to falter. And the let-up pitch is outside. Crowd loves all of the deliveries, all of the pitches and moves by El Tiante. He won 18 games this year.
There was a glove move I never saw before. He's trying to wave the glove in Morgan's face. I think the story right now is whether or not Tiant can complete this game. If, in fact, he wins it, we can't assume that.
That pitch is low.
But since 1971 in World Series play, there's not been a complete ball game. Of course, Fingers and Knowles being in so many for Oakland, but the last one was Steve Blasby in 1971.
The 3-1 pitch to Joe Morgan is in for the strike. He was taking. Reds are down by 6 runs. Jim Burton, a left-hander, and Dick Drago, a fireballing right-hander in the Red Sox bullpen.
He's walked only 2. They've both been intentional.
Both Cesar Geronimo. And there's a fly ball in the right field. Dwight Evans has the play. 2 down.
He continues to upset the Cincinnati Reds' timing.
And with the Red Sox scoring 6 in the 7th, it was the biggest series inning since the Orioles scored 6 against the Pirates in the bottom of the 5th of the 2nd game of their series.
The Reds were shut out only 5 times this season, the lowest total in the National League.
Johnny Bench, fly to right, fouled out to Fisk, and bounced to Petrocelli. Tiant can toy with hitters when he has a lead like this in the late innings. But Cincinnati is explosive. Burleson on 1 hop. Side is retired. So Tiant responds to the 6-run inning by retiring the Reds in order in the 8th. The Red Sox lead it 6-0. In the bottom of the 8th inning, Dwight Evans, who has a hit in 3 trips officially and sacrificed his last time up and was safe when Gullett threw the ball away in second base into center field. McEnany, the 3rd Cincinnati pitcher. Second baseman Morgan coming in. And Evans is retired. Don Gullett started for the Reds today, worked 6 innings plus, allowed 4 runs on 10 hits. Walked 4 and struck out 3. Clay Carroll came in and faced 1 batter, Carlton Fisk, but he walked him with the bases loaded. And then McEnany has given up a run on 2 hits.
And Tiant in the 9th will face 3 right-handed batters, Perez, Foster, and Concepcion.
And Dick Drago is warming up in the Red Sox bullpen. He'll be called upon if Louis runs into trouble. Here's Denny Doyle, 2 for 3 with a sacrifice and has scored a run. Stride. There's Drago, who is incredible. And that's the best word to describe Drago's pitching in games 2 of 3 of the American League Championship Series. Sneaks in a fastball on Doyle, 0-2 the count. And Denny Doyle's wife, who started the season along with Denny in California, now finds himself in a World Series. And her husband has 2 hits in this first game.
A little moolah coming, a little fur coat maybe.
And you know what? The Red Sox players voted Denny Doyle a full share. Even though he played half the year, he deserved it.
And Burton and Willoughby, too. Full share. Well, they should have. They helped contribute and put him in here.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Doyle with 1 out. Bottom of the 8th. Full count.
Tomorrow on television, Joe Garrett Joel will be working with Tony and my old broadcasting partner, Ned Martin, a very popular broadcaster and radio with the Red Sox. And Ned's in the back of the booth. Good luck tomorrow, Ned.
And Doyle draws a walk. Ned's been with the Red Sox 16 years. He has seen it all.
Listen to the standing ovation for Carl Yastrzemski. He made a great catch in left field, and he drove in the first run of the game.
And he made a fine diving catch of a fly ball with a runner on, Foster, in the 7th inning, and that preceded a double by Griffey, and that was a big play. Fouls it out of play to the left side.
And they were booing him here earlier in the season.
You hear a lot about a base hit getting a team going, but I think many more times, or as many times, a great defensive play as Yastrzemski pulled off will spur a team on, and that may have helped the Red Sox. Got him up.
In for the strike, 0-2 to Carl. Well, the Cincinnati Reds have 15 players. With World Series experience, the Red Sox only 3, Yastrzemski and Petrocelli, who have contributed, and Bernie Carbo. A ball and 2 strikes. Bourbon and Darcy, a pair of right-handers in the Reds bullpen, and Dick Drago was up, and he is now seated in the Boston bullpen. Carl 1 for 3, an RBI single.
Bourbon closest to the camera.
Fouls it off. It's still 1-2. Yastrzemski had one big hot streak. As we look at Denny Doyle at first this season, I think he raised his average, Kurt, something like 60 or 70 points.
He had a separated left shoulder at the end of the year that bothered his swing. He played hurt.
And it's caught by Perez, steps on the bag for the double play, and the side is retired. Well, nothing Denny Doyle could do about that one. We go to the 9th inning here at Fenway Park. The Red Sox have a 6-run lead. And is this man overjoyed?
70-year-old, very dapper Louis Tiant Sr. El Tiante number 1 is watching El Tiante number 2 on the mound. Going into the 9th inning with a shutout. Let's see what happens, Dick.
Tony Perez will lead it off, and as you mentioned, 3 right-handed batters against Tiant, and Dick Drago is warming up, the right-hander, and Jim Burton, a left-hander, just in case. Perez has struck out twice and lines this first pitch to center field. Freddie Lynn. Does he go get him, Kurt?
Oh, he glides after the ball. This is the best young player the Red Sox have had since Carl Yastrzemski came up as a rookie in 1960. Very deceiving. He just glides. He's there. It makes him look easy.
Here's George Foster. Has 2 of the 5 hits for Cincinnati. Joe Morgan has the other 2, and Griffey has the 5th. 1 out in the 9th inning. Special thanks to our statistician Alan Roth, production stage manager Jim O'Gorman, and our field supervisor Hugh McDermott.
Red Sox are playing. You can close your eyes and watch them against the A's a week ago today, the way they played.
Kurt, they've been underrated from spring training on. No one thought they'd handle the pressure by the Orioles. Foster fouls it off.
Well, they said playoff pressure, World. What do you mean? We had more pressure from Baltimore than from anyone. Every time we looked up, they were winning, and we had to beat them off. There was the pressure.
Strike 1 pitch, and it's popped up. Doyle is going out, and he'll call for it. 2 down.
Remember tomorrow, grandstand and the World Series football doubleheader. Beginning at 12:30, Joe Garagiola will have an artistic look at the World Series. And the Reds and the Red Sox, followed by the Oakland Raiders against the Kansas City Chiefs. 2 of the most heated rivals in professional football. All on NBC starting at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon.
2 out, here's Concepcion. Takes a fastball, strike 1.
They want a strikeout. The hometown fans want to see him end it with a flourish.
Robbed of a hit last time up by Carl Yastrzemski. 2 down.
That's the hesitation job.
Tiant went into this 9th inning with no earned runs allowed in his last 35 innings at Fenway Park. 1 ball, 1 strike to Concepcion, 2 out, top of the 9th, 6-0 to score. And the Reds are down to their last strike. One ball, 2 strikes. Crowd on its feet here at Fenway on an overcast, raw day. And Petrocelli gloves it, but low in time. And the Red Sox have drawn first blood in the 1975 World Series. Louis Tiant with the help of a 6-run seventh, spins a 5-hit shutout to give the Sox the victory.
Dick, they played a flawless game. They just can't make a mistake in the field. That last play by Petrocelli was a sparkler. Yastrzemski, Freddie Lynn. They're taking the extra base. They're doing everything that the book says you're supposed to do to play baseball.
And these Red Sox players, Kurt, like to be the underdogs. They like to know that somebody feels that the other club will win. They handle the Baltimore pressure, as you mentioned, beat Oakland in 3 straight games. They're the 3-time defending champs, and there you see Louis Tiant getting congratulations in a whale of a game for him.
Well, I figured him the key of this series. If he lost here today, I think the Reds would have been heavily favored. We'll be back right after this message.